city of Englewood presents Englewood Moments in History. Have you ever wondered why so many car dealers and auto-based businesses choose Englewood as their home? It all traces back to the 1940s and the rise of the legendary Englewood Speedway and the races it hosted for nearly 40 years. In 1946, brothers Ed and John Clark had their minds set on buying a race car when John convinced Ed and his business partner Carol Quellen to build a racetrack instead. Just outside the Denver city limits in the spring of 1947, a quarter-mile oval track was carved out of the countryside with straightaways running east and west. In 1950, despite his wife Marion calling it the most foolish thing he ever did, Charlie Cogner purchased the Englewood Speedway. It quickly evolved into a successful family-run business with his son Rich. In its early years, roadsters dominated the race action, and Codner and his yellow and black number 99 won 4 consecutive championships. As the racing scene evolved from roadsters to stock cars, the family was passionate about the fan experience. The racing surface, seating areas, and concessions were impeccably maintained. In 1964, the Codners introduced an exciting new form of racing when they carved an X through the infield of the oval-shaped track. Figure 8 racing was gaining popularity on the East Coast, and hosting these events doubled the size of the race crowds who reveled in watching the controlled chaos of the events. In the 1970s, death-defying stunts were added to keep the audience on the edge of their seat. Daredevil motorcycle stunts and demolition derbies were showcased to delighted fans each week. Perhaps the craziest stunt of all was performed by Orville the Daredevil Clown. Orville had previously appeared at the track, jumping trucks and crashing cars, but on July 13, 1974, he ratcheted up the danger with his Russian Death Dynamite chair stunt. Sitting in the middle of the figure 8, Orville blew himself up with several sticks of dynamite. In the late 1970s, as the once undeveloped area around the track was populated with housing and business developments, noise complaints poured in. The land that housed the Speedway became too valuable to use as a racetrack, and a January 20th news article confirmed the worst. The Englewood Speedway would be shuttered to make way for the Sherwood Business Park. "We were going to call it the Speedway Business Park," said Rich Codner, "but we figured nobody would remember the Speedway in 2 or 3 years." The racing started and ended right here in the area we now call Englewood and Sheridan, Colorado.